Hi, okay, right. I've got another little recipe today. Something we used to do in the restaurant and using the Thai red curry paste, which we made in another video, which I have in the fridge. And it's going to be Thai tofu cakes. So this was a recipe we tried to make when we first opened the restaurant. Disastrously. Absolutely terrible. And something which I wanted to do to sort of mimic a sort of Thai crab cake. And this is the recipe that we kind of finished with. And you need some ingredients, so I'll show you what these ingredients are. So Okio, if you can come down here please. So a bowl, okay, we'll see what that is. A clean tea towel which has been soaked and wrung out to get rid of any detergent. Some tofu or tofu. Some light soy sauce. Some lime juice. Cashew nuts, some rice flour, Thai curry paste, and some coriander. Okay, very, very simple recipe, relies on one very, very simple thing, and that is the tofu tastes, you know, some people like it. It's reasonably bland. So what we're going to do now, you can buy very, very hard tofu. This isn't a hard tofu. It says firm texture, but actually it's quite soft. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the water from this. So I'm just going to open this up. We're going to take it out. You can see the water. You can maybe hear the water running out of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that tofu. And I'm just going to crumble it into my tea towel. Okay, so it's best to, you know, wash the tea towel out because you don't want to have the taste of detergent in your tofu cakes. Now, when we were in the restaurant, what we used to do, and you can see there's quite a lot of moisture coming out of that. What we used to do in the restaurant is we typically use some 5 kilogram weights to remove the moisture overnight. So we put it, you know, in between some tea towels, and we would remove all of that moisture from the tofu. But you can do it reasonably quickly by just wringing it out through a tea towel. Okay, so getting all 1950s on it and giving it a good squeeze. And you can actually get a little bit more out if you just grab each bit of tofu. Just right, okay. Exciting video. Let's chuck this away. There we are. Quite a lot of water from there. And I'll put the tofu now back into the bowl. Okay, and you can see that. You can see that that has removed quite a lot of the water from our tofu. If you look at it now, it's very crumbly. Okay, it feels reasonably dry. So what we've done is we've taken a lot of the I've taken a lot of the moisture out of the tofu, a lot of that water that was still left in there, and what we're going to do is we're going to replace that with a bit of flavour. And the flavour we're going to replace it with is some light soy sauce, which is a very good seasoning. I can open it, which I can't. Right, okay. So we're going to replace it with light soy sauce. Didn't remove the little lip from that. So a little bit of light soy sauce. Well, I say a little bit. It's quite a reasonable amount of light soy sauce. Again, do this to your own taste. Having trouble opening these things. This is lime juice. and this is a brand new lime juice, which is why I can't open it, because I got to take that little bit of plastic off. Okay, now I still can't open it. This is very exciting video. And then some lime juice again. Squeeze some lime juice on there. What we're then going to do, grab a fork, okay, and give that a little mix. Right, now what that's done is it's removed the unnecessary moisture from the tofu and it's replaced it with some flavour. The moisture's been put back in, but we've now got some flavour on it, and I absolutely love this, okay? This is, as far as I'm concerned, back to me, Akio. No, that's delicious. Just adding in that little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of lime juice. Again, add as much as you want, but that gives you your base. That gives you a base flavour. Very, very nice. Quite early in the morning, you're nice, delicious. Right, so back down Akio. Right, back on there. So there's our starting point. Right, now we have to add in what we want to make these Thai tofu cakes. Well, the first thing that we're going to need is some Thai curry paste. So this is the red Thai curry paste that we made. It's got all of those aromatics in there. I don't have very much. This is just one block of tofu, so I'm just going to add probably just 2 dessert spoons of Thai curry paste. I can always add more, so I'm going to give that a mix through. And that's going to be my start. Okay, now I'm going to add some coriander leaf. So I'll just tear a little coriander off my bunch. Okay, so I've got, a handful of coriander essentially. I'm just going to give that a little chop. So let me just move that out of the way. I'm quite a messy cook. Let's give that a little chop. So we'll just keep the fingers out of the way and just give that. I like it quite fine. I don't want to find one big bit of coriander. Of course, the problem with one big bit of coriander is that when we come to make these into cakes, that's going to make the processing of the cakes that little bit more difficult. So the finer you chop the coriander, the easier it will be to form your tofu cakes. Right, so got one bit there. Let's get rid of that. And then pop that into our bowl. So there's our coriander. And again, this is very much a matter of taste. Add as much coriander if you like it. Add as little if you don't. Okay, you've got the flavour. You've got that in there anyway, because it's in the Thai curry paste, although that was just root that we put in. Alright, and that is our base. So I'll do another little taste. Delicious, a little bit of ginger there. Always a pain, of course. With ginger, sometimes you get those long strands of ginger. It feels like eating somebody's hair. And there's the starting. Oh, delicious. There's our Thai tofu cakes. Right, we're going to make them into cakes now. How are we going to do that? We need 2 little ingredients. We'll get rid of that. We need 2 ingredients. Those ingredients are our cashew nuts and our rice flour. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grind up some cashew nuts. So I've got a little food processor, a little handheld food processor. I'm going to chuck some cashew nuts in here. I'm going to grind up more than I need because I have another recipe that uses cashew nuts and uses the Thai red curry paste, which I'll do at some point in the future. So in go the cashew nuts, on go the lid somehow, and then, whoa, what happened there? some reason something went off. On goes the top. Just pulse that. Until I got some nicely finely ground cashew nuts, which I have there, right? Now this is one of the binding ingredients. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tip in some of those cashew nuts. That's going to help me to bind this together. Right, and just give that a little mix, and you guys can see this getting mixed in. Also gives a little bit of texture. You'll get one or two which are a little bit more crunchy. But that's the starting point of bringing this together. We'll go a little bit more. I quite like cashew nuts, and I'm going to be the one who's eating these. And you can see actually that that's starting now to hold together a little more. Okay, so if I was to grab some of that, you can see that that's going to come together. Right, the second ingredient that's going to allow us to do that, grab some scissors, is the rice flour. So a little bit of rice flour, and there we go. So again, this is very much by eye and by feel. Okay, so start with that amount. Probably going to be enough for the amount of tofu that I've got here. This is going to dry everything out, right? Because the rice flour is going to absorb some of the moisture. But as long as we've got enough moisture in there, it's actually going to allow us to form these into little patties or cakes. Now this was the basis for a lot of recipes that we used in the restaurant. So we used to do a version of, you can see that's coming together lovely now. Okay, I'm going to feel that for moisture. Going to add just a tiny little bit more just to dry it out a little bit more. We used to make, we called them Thai lollipops. They were just a play on a corn dog, the American corn dog. And what we used to do is just sort of shape them into a corn dog shape, and then deep fry them, and then chuck them on a stick after they've been deep fried, and then serve that. I can't remember what we served it with actually. I think we served it with nasi goreng and some sauce of some kind. Probably a satay sauce or something like that. Right, you can see now. Okay, you can see if you can look in the bowl, you can see that this has come together and looks much more doughy. Okay, now that rice flour is going to continue to absorb this moisture. Now we also did these as burgers, and these make great burgers. And this is how you make your Thai cakes. So essentially what we've got there, I can just taste a little bit just to show you. It's very edible, very nice as well. Thai cakes depends on. So in the restaurant we just take a small amount. 2 of these would be a starter. So for the starter portion, you'd have a Thai cake. Just move it back and forth together like so. Okay, because what you want to do is you want to encourage that to stick, and that would be, if I can just grab a plate, that would be a perfect sort of portion for a Thai cake. Now you can see that you don't want to have big bits of coriander in there, because that's going to result in, you know, this not adhering quite so well, and then that, you know, is a pain in the neck, you know, for actually making them stick into Thai cakes. What you then do with these Thai cakes, so back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just slightly squeeze in every time it goes from hand to hand, and then just flatten it out, and then you've got another Thai cake. That would be a very nice portion. Now if you wanted to make these into a lollipop or into a corn dog type of thing, you need a bigger handful, right? So start with a bigger handful. You've got to be a little bit more gentle here, just moving it from side to side. Again, you're encouraging this to all stick together. You don't want it to fall apart, so you just have to be very, very gentle with it and just encourage that sort of corn dog shape. You know, you don't want to be going like this really. I mean, you can do, but really that's going to cause it to break apart. Some tofu isn't going to adhere to other bits. The bigger bits tend not to adhere so well. But if you wanted to make that into a corn dog shape, then you have a corn dog shape there. That can be deep fried as is, and it goes very, very nice and crispy on the outside because of the rice flour. You don't need to dip that in anything. If you wanted to, make these into a burger, of course, then it's just exactly the same as the Thai cakes. If you want to make that into a Thai burger, and I think we made it into a Thai burger at some point, then there's your Thai burger. Now all you have to do with these, shallow fry in a little bit of oil for about a couple to 3 minutes on both sides, and there's your Thai tofu cakes. Absolutely amazing tasting. Okay, you can add any other little aromats into there that you want to make them your own. Okay, this is literally the recipe that we used to use in the restaurant. You can see my hands now are covered in coriander. So on that bombshell, that is another recipe using Thai curry paste, and we'll stop it there.